Hello everybody, Enjess here and welcome back to Symphogear GX episode 12, the penultimate episode of this season. That's been pretty good about cliffhangers so far, so maybe this episode will be the cliffhanger episode. Although, we'll see, I guess. There hasn't been an episode that would make me, whose ending would make me like, oh yeah, I need to watch the next one. I must watch the next one. There were episodes like that in season 1, in season 2, season 3, the current season. Not so much. What happened in the previous episode? In the previous episode, the sister, the little sister or big sister, or whatever it was called, the kaiju autoscorer just got clapped, just like that. Snap. Not even snip snap, just snap. Single projectile from Chris, and the kaiju is no more. The cliffhanger moment from the previous episode just got completely and utterly destroyed and turned completely 100% inconsequential. At this point, I don't know if the autoscorers are even a thing. We haven't seen anything from them yet. I mean, from the only one who remains alive, at least. She had the sister, and that's it. I guess the only thing that happened was the base got destroyed, but all the people are alive, so that kind of doesn't bear any consequences. Whatever. Another thing that happened is we redeemed Hibiki's father again, like that, from a snap. One moment he was ready to scam Hibiki out of another dinner, out of paying for some wagyu steak or whatever the fuck he ordered. The next moment, he was the best father ever, willing to sacrifice his life to protect his daughter. Then the next moment, he was running away. Then he was defending her again, and I don't like it. Like, genuinely, I really don't like it. There has been a few things in this season that I haven't been a fan of, like character growth arcs that weren't really character growth because they were going back to status quo, which is everybody except Maria and Tsubasa. But those are the things that I can kinda get, I can kinda understand. That, yeah, sure, the Ignite relics, being able to use it means you have to grow as a person, so we need character growth arcs. What if the characters don't have anywhere to grow? Well, whoop-de-doodles, make them forget everything they learned and make them grow again from complete regression. That oughta work. So I understand why it had to be done. When it comes to Hibiki's father redemption, I don't get it. Not at all, not whatsoever. If Hibiki was hanging out at that restaurant with Miku, the effect would be the exact same. If she was out there alone, nothing would change. I guess maybe the fact that her father gave her through her the relic, I guess that was his significance. But again, that could have been Miku. That could have been whoever else. Hibiki herself could have gone there in like one last spur of strength or whatever. I don't like it when characters are redeemed like that. To me, personally, character redemption has to be an arc. 100%. It cannot be a redemption episode. It cannot be a redemption scene. It has to be a redemption arc that actually shows us the character's growth. What growth did Hibiki's father experience? Fearing for his life. After he tried to stream the events live on YouTube to get some money from views. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna drop it because I could talk about it in circles on and on and on, and I would still have things to say. Right. Chateau de Tiforge has finally descended upon us, so Carol's plan is very well in motion. Carol got rid of Ver, who insulted the dream of her father, saying that your uh, your aspirations are too low, are too weak. You're not a hero. A hero would demand more. A hero would want to reshape the world. Merely getting to know that, ha! So Ver is temporarily out of the picture. I wonder if he's gonna appear eventually, reappear. I don't think he's fully dead. Another character that reappeared, is Nastasia, Mother. She appeared after credits, so great. Great timing for the cliffhanger. I only hope that it's not gonna be the same cliffhanger situation as it was with the sister. That Nastasia isn't gonna die in the first 5 seconds of this episode. But yeah, she appeared, and it could go either way. It could be that she's just an empty husk controlled by Carol, and Maria, Shirabe, and Kirika are going to have to fight her. Despite the heartache splitting their hearts, they will have to, because she's no longer herself, she's just an empty husk, right? That's that kind of a regular, usual trope. Or did she actually save them? Because the scene was very ambiguous. If she did save them, then is she joining us? We could use her, for sure. She knows her stuff about relics. She might be able to help us develop new linker. We have to remember that the supply of linker is very limited, and we don't exactly know how to make more. The only people with that knowledge were Ryoko, rest in pieces, and Ver, who's probably too insane to cooperate with. So maybe Nastasia and Elf9 joining forces might be able to figure something out. Who knows? Or she's evil, as I mentioned before, just a servant of Carol, and she's gonna attack, and that's gonna be a very, very dramatic scene, for sure. Anything else? Carol henshined, and now we're fighting Carol in her fully henshin form, and she's a very tough nut to crack. She's fairly strong to the point where even the 6 girls don't really stand a chance so far. Again, well, not 6 of them. It's only Hibiki, Tsubasa, and Chris who are fighting against Carol, because Maria, Shirabe, and Kirika went on board of the Chateau de Tiforge, trying to turn it off. Problem is, the plan is kind of on autopilot now. So question is, can it even be turned off? We know that the ley lines have already lit up. There has been beams of light shooting from the sky, destroying fishing boats and whatnot. So can we stop it? It's not even a question of can we revert it, can we reverse it, can we stop it, can we stop any further destruction, or will the Earth slowly keep disintegrating, or whatever else is going to happen. There's also the photosphere that's apparently underneath the Earth's crust, whose role I'm still not entirely sure of. And that about sums it up. The plan is in motion, Carol is fighting and winning. Chateau de Tiforge is also fighting against the invaders and winning. The situation seems dire and hopeless, but probably thanks to the power of the Nakama and maybe a sprinkle of Ignite, we will manage, we will survive, we will win, and the season will end on a positive note, because it's Symphogear. It has its share of drama, but ultimately hope prevails. Okay, that was a lot of talking, so how about now we do some watching? To do that, you're gonna need your subs, of course, to sync up your own copy. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what the fuck is going on. And I'm also gonna need your support to perhaps one day do this whole shtick full time. On Patreon or Throne monetarily, you can support me, links in the description. Or if you don't want to spend any money, share my content, spread the word, send links to your friends, family, etc. Every single viewer brought to the channel helps and matters a lot. And with that, with the shilling out of the way, we can start watching Symphogear GX episode 12, the penultimate one, in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh. Opening. No, ending. Opening. No, ending. That's the ending song. Okay, so kinda sorta last time Dragon Ball Z. Hello, Nastasia. Okay, she's not a husk. Or maybe she is. An apparition? An illusion? Or just some tough love? Okay, so apparition then. Stinging nettle and mango. And now it's time for Maria to waver, of course. Argetlime? Argetlam? Hand-holding saves the day. It probably is. You're storming a castle. GX! The title of this episode is just straight out GX. Now, what does GX stand for? Oh, Elf9 is injured. Not just yours, though. I guess that's one way to bind alchemy to music. Ah, so an even more ancient form of magic then. Yeah? Song. Okay, so songs and alchemy. Okay, gotcha. Both sides of the same, or rather, both attempts at doing the same thing. Interesting. That's a Chekhov's gun if I've ever seen one. The origin of songs and alchemy. Ver? Hello. Okay. But enough to bring help. Hell yeah! Deal with the devil! Let's go! Just tossed him over like a sack of potatoes. First we fight the noise. Genocide and genocide. How convenient. The only thing more poetic would be if the smack dab center was at the Tokyo Tower. Hello, Maria. Everybody's words of encouragement? Everybody taking turns? Or just Maria? Yeah, you should have done a better job. Synthesis. Yeah, alchemy isn't just disintegration, it's also synthesis. That's what we're counting on. Yeah? Whomst? Mother, dearest. So it's gonna be a very dramatic fight against Mother. She already has your songs recorded though. So is it gonna matter? More strings. That's not being up close and personal. That's an explosion. Dark Maria. Okay. With Black Gungnir. Maria will have to fight her past. Literally. Yeah. Just a recording. She represents you. Where's Nega Kirika and Nega Shirabe though? Just Nega Maria? Fighting with the cloak. I miss those days, honestly. With knowledge. Yeah, we still have no clue what it is, but sure. Nastasia's keepsake? What would that be? Euthanasia. You already have atoned. Of course. Last moment save. We're a team, indeed. It's not only your shoulder to bear. I thought we went through it like twice already, but apparently we need the third reminder. Cool. That's what he wants. He very much enjoys the fate of the world being in his hands. Too late. You girls on ground maybe try to stop her? Just a thought. Yeah, that's a suicide note. And so is this. And so is this. Making amends. Either it's a moment of growth, or it is a suicide note. Maybe at least, like, I don't know, bandage her wound, put a tourniquet on or something. Just gonna let her bleed like that. An elbow blade. Or a punch. Blade punch. Like a... whatchamacallit? Tonfa thing, kinda? Sorta deal. She herself destroyed the chateau? Or what did she do exactly? Yeah, she blew up the chateau. Good going there, Carol. Was that part of your plan? Yeah, everything's getting reconstructed. Yep, everything goes back to how it was. Synthesis. No one's any wiser. Is probably alive. Don't write them off quite yet. Okay, thousands of people in this building will die, but at least not the whole world. Yeah, you kind of fucked up with that four-colored beam, didn't you? Ain't gonna be that easy, something tells me. Elf 9. I mean, yeah, it's genuinely not what he wanted, but Carol has a different opinion on the matter. Matcha, for a change. Oh, so she knows that. Ah, she wants vengeance. Therapy. Would have been cheaper. Okay, so it wasn't even a case of a misunderstanding on Carol's part. It was just her own wishes skewing their father's words. Yes. I mean, from what few scenes I've seen of him, he very much is the kind of a person who would say that, but what do I know? Okay, that's the time you rush her to the operation room? Or at least bandage her up? What you doing? Oh, she's burning her memories. Yeah, it would seem so. Revenge on the world itself. Probably. Unless you use some very strong Tokno Jutsu. I mean, Elf9 is as good as dead right now, honestly, because they're not really taking care of her wounds, but... I hope Elf9 survives. Oh! Double click! We haven't seen the double click yet. Is it like Ignite Mark II or something? Oh, I like this detail. Wings transforming into blades, claws transforming into fists. Not gonna be easy, I'm afraid. Okay, just nobody is going to help Elf9. Cool. I mean, yeah, brute force is very much like Hibiki. A lot. Okay. Are they gonna get a second henshin? Or is it just a another form without actually changing the form? Ruby, though. Right, Ruby, though. Uh, Rubido, Nigredo, Albedo, and something else. Suicide Song, you mean? Or not quite? No, they're just using the power of Ignite. You know the power of the Ignite, but do you know the power of the Ignite and Nakama combined? The Henshin? Maria? Of course they're alive. No, I guess he's dead. Yep. He finally got his wish. He became a hero. What's that? A recipe for Linker? Or what is it exactly? Something that would make Linker obsolete, maybe? Something a step above? Also curious that he would have it on him. Yes, you were, Doctor. Yes, you were. But a hero nonetheless. You saved the world. Sextuple suicide song. Cliffy Hangi? No, not yet. I honestly expected a cliffhanger. Hexagon version now. There we go. Yeah, the power of hand-holding. The power of controlling, I guess. So it seems like they're powering up Hibiki. Someone get her a fucking bandage, please! XD, X Drive, is that it? Should have directed that at Carol. Oh, second henshin, or third henshin? Would that be? Everybody has wings. Okay. Okay. That's their suicide forms. Superb forms, whatever you want to call them. Different than in previous seasons. Is that like Ignite superb forms or something like that? Should have gotten her a bandage. Tsubasa song. Or is it a mix of all of their songs? No, it's Tsubasa. Hmm. That's a long ending. Was it always this long? We're gonna get an after credits scene? Unlikely, but maybe. Yeah, no after credits. I guess we're gonna have to watch the next episode next week. It wasn't big enough of a cliffhanger to make me watch the finale as well. We're gonna pace ourselves this time around. But instead of watching the next episode in a week, or rather besides or before, we can watch this episode again. Shall we? All in all, this episode felt kind of short. Yeah, it did feel kind of short. Not necessarily in a bad way, but it felt kind of short, but also kind of long. We had many sub arcs, many mini arcs, many things happening, but like not many like very significant things. Well, one very significant thing, right? The destruction of the chateau. But besides that, it was like a collection of mini stories, kind of, sorta. But yeah, let's go through it. Mother appeared out of nowhere, and of course she's an apparition. How exactly did she come to be? We don't know. Is it an autoscorer dressed up as her? Probably not, because then she changed form to resemble Maria. Is it a ghost created with alchemy? Is it an alchemical construct? We don't know anything about it, but yeah, Mother is here. And she sows the seeds of doubt in everybody's minds, mostly in Maria's doubts. She's going. This makes it like what? A third time that Maria doubts her worth and thinks of all the bad things she did, and then finds her worth again. That would be like the third time already. Yeah, her words are true, of course. You wish to be saved from the silver radiance that is far too bright for you. Stopping Carol is my fight, and yeah, Elf9 indeed did help. But why the fuck did nobody give her a bandage? Jesus Christ, she bled out. Blood is useful, you know? It's useful to have your body full of blood. You should probably staunch the flow. Just an idea, do they not have like a first aid kit here where they also captivated by what was going on the screen that everybody fucking forgot about Elf9? What's going on here with Elf9? Like I know drama, right? Oh no, Elf9 is waning, she's slowly dying. It's all for her sake that we're doing it. Elf9 with her dying breath stopped Carol, yada 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 yada. But it didn't have to be her dying breath, is what I'm trying to say. Stuff her side full of gas, wrap it up in a shirt. You just gave her like 2 more hours to live. Enough for the girls to defeat Carol, destroy the chateau, and rush her to the hospital. Like, are we not valuing Elf9? She's pretty fucking useful to have around. Someone who knows alchemy, right? So maybe. I don't know, maybe it's just me who would want to keep her around and preferably alive. Maybe my feelings don't reflect the feelings of literally everybody fucking else on this boat. Harmony is the basis of all truths. There's nothing strange about that at all. Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah, to overcome the curse of Balal, they tried to create harmony. Some of them tried doing that through alchemy, as in universal understanding, right? Disassembling everything into its bare concepts, into its most basic forms, so that it can be analyzed and it can be understood. Right? You don't need to know a word for apple if you know the very essence of what an apple consists of. Right? It's sometimes the way universal translators work in sci-fi, and some universal translator like spells or charms or whatever works in fantasy. They read not the words but the meaning of them, the essence of them, and they translate them not not by like emitting the sound, but rather implanting the ideas in the head, essentially. Transmission of information through ideas, right? It's not that one person says apple in English, the other says apple in Spanish, and it works like Google Translate. No, one person says apple in English, it gets transformed into the very essence of an apple, and the person who speaks Spanish understands the very essence of an apple. So yeah, I can see why alchemy might have been a way for mutual common understanding. Same goes for music, of course, universal language. You don't need to know the language that the song is being sung in for that song to resonate with you, for you to like that song. I don't speak Lake of Suomi, and I do enjoy Korpiklani, right? Alchemy song and songs were both created to fill the gap left by the lost universal language. Their origin has been lost to history. This makes me think that it might become relevant again. This very much reads as a Chekhov's gun. Yeah, fuck. I'm gonna note it down, because why not? Hatarakuma Osama Overlord Ruby Symphogear GX. Symphogear GX. Okay. What was I on about? Right, the universal power that alchemy and music stems from somehow comes into play. The universal power both alchemy and song stems from becomes relevant parenthesis Chekhov's gun. Yeah, I have a feeling that might be the case. Perhaps not in this season, probably not, but in seasons future. Right. Ver was leading them here, of course, the rescue party. And now that the world is threatened with destruction, again, of course, Ver wouldn't want that. Ver wants to save the world and not destroy it. I like that he was able to control the chateau. Ver both helped Carol go through with her plans, because he allowed her to even start the chateau, but he's also the part that foiled her plans almost entirely. Well, not almost, fully, entirely, reversed the course of the chateau. And blew it up in the end. Interesting that it's apparently blood that gives him power. That he has to have enough blood to take full control of the chateau. That implies that if he did have enough blood, he would be able to take control of the chateau just like that. Talking in terms of CPU for some reason. Okay, it's Dr. Ver. He's weird like that. Makes sense. What do? We fight. Or rather, you fight, I'm saving the world. That's what we're doing. Tokyo lies on the focal point of the ley lines. What's the building in the middle? Is it significant in any way, or is it just a random skyscraper? I don't know. I can always try once more. I love Dr. Ver. Yeah, all alchemy is based on decomposition analysis, but also synthesis. That's the deal with alchemy, like from the very beginning, right from the get-go. For example, like the search of a recipe that would turn lead to gold. The assumption was that if we disassemble lead into those very basic particles and we manipulate them, we will be able to reassemble those particles into gold. Which is kind of like a very early way of very early understanding of like atoms, because technically it would be possible to rip out some protons and some neutrons and some electrons out of an atom of lead, or a couple of those atoms, to turn them into a soup of random protons, neutrons, and electrons flying around molecular plasma, essentially, or whatever it's called, and then assemble atoms of gold, proton by proton, neutron by neutron, electron by electron. Theoretically, it's something that can be done. Not by adding like sulfuric acid to a vat of, I don't know, sand and an eye of salamander for good measure, right? That wouldn't work. But theoretically, it's something that would be possible. I'll swallow you whole, and you underestimate how much Ver wants to be a hero. and how much he loves screwing up people's plans. That's an unknown there. Something you cannot analyze, something you cannot disassemble and hope to understand. That's always a force to be reckoned with. Someone so mad and so random that they are completely and utterly unpredictable. Because if your plan is based on logic in one way or another, on understanding something that's completely illogical, will throw a wrench into your plans, and a pretty significant one at that. Of course, Mother comes back. And we have another character growth moment for Maria, kinda, sorta. Or rather, she's grown by now and just demonstrating her growth. I think that would be the closer understanding of that. Yeah, Maria understands you're the culmination of our mistakes and missteps, but shameful pasts exist to be rewritten. She now understands. She now have grown. This is the final test, essentially. And the song is, of course, about atonement and what have you. If we decode the ley line patterns stored there, we can work from here. Okay, time to put Professor Nastasia's keepsake to a good use for a change. What is Professor Nastasia's keepsake? I don't know. What did she leave? The mirror relic? It didn't come into play. And wasn't it destroyed in the first place? I'm not sure. I don't know what he's talking about here. Professor Anastasia's keepsake. Her... I don't know. Her research? Something? No clue. Oh no, she was researching the photosphere or something, right? So I guess they are putting her research into work to help Elf9 hack the chateau through with Ver's help, something like that, probably. Dedicate all the chateau functionality you control to the reconstruction. Everybody here really gives no fucks about this sudden bright green light. No one turns their head. Just, yeah, I guess we don't exist anymore. Whatever, doesn't matter ultimately. Leave this to me and go help the others. No, we're not gonna leave it to you. We're a team. We both committed sins that we have to atone for. We will all fight the personification of our sins. We will all help you. We will not abandon you. We have to overcome our sins together. Yeah, another moment of Maria suddenly understanding that they are a team. Fate of the world is in your hands. And Ver likes it very much. And yeah, those are them's dying words. Them's dying words, very much so. Don't get between me and my father. Between you and your revenge, your father at this point doesn't have anything to do with it anymore, honestly. And of course, they won. The fight. Chateau has been destroyed. This moment, I'm not getting particularly much. Oh no, you are about to destroy my chateau. I'm gonna blast it with a laser and speed up the destruction? Is it like a nervous tick or something? That she gets nervous and sad and upset, so she uncontrollably shoots out a beam of alchemy, or what's the deal here? I don't know. I'm not getting it. twofold, so to speak, right? Because I could understand it if the only way to bring down the chateau was for Carol to shoot it down for whatever bullshit reason, right? And they goaded Carol to shoot it down or something, whatever. But that's not the case. They are already onto the chateau. They are already destroying it. They've already reprogrammed it. The plans bust. The world is going back to normal. So, from a story perspective, they don't need an external force to destroy the chateau, because the chateau has already been destroyed from the inside. From like an in-world perspective, why the fuck would she do that? I guess maybe a last-ditch attempt at stopping the reconstruction. If I can't destroy the world entirely, then I'm at least gonna stop its reconstruction. That kind of thinking, maybe. I guess that would be one explanation. Yeah, the chateau goes boom, and she's apparently surprised that her laser beam destroyed it. What's more, the world goes back to normal after the chateau has been destroyed. So it's not like she, in the hopes of stopping the reconstruction, destroyed it. Because her destroying it facilitated the reconstruction of the world. Fucking galaxy brain move there, Carol. Galaxy brain. Yeah, disintegrated areas have already been reconstructed, which means hospitals as well. Get this Carol to a motherfucking hospital. Is it not possible to secure a bright future without sacrifices? Well, you can avoid one of them if you take action, but you choose not to. Oh, I guess we can't save everybody. Meanwhile, Elf9 is there clawing on his shirt, saying like, yeah, you can save me though. Future result is now naught but ruins and rubble. Sure, this isn't what our father wanted, yeah, when he told us to learn more. This isn't what he was asking for. And she knows that. Twist! Subversion! All this time, I was led to believe that misunderstanding him, okay, could have happened. Kind of a shitty motive for a villain, but at least interesting, right? It hasn't really been done that the villain becomes a villain due to a very big, huge, humongous misunderstanding. But turns out she knows that that's not what father wanted. She just wants revenge. She just wants revenge. How else can I avenge his death? By killing the people who killed him, not destroying the world? I don't know, killing the descendants of the people who killed him? Glassing the village where he died, you know? Something that doesn't include the whole world, maybe? Again, she's not thinking clearly. I can see that. I'm just kind of making fun of it, but kind of also wondering that, yeah, all of that could have been avoided. How else can I overcome this grief? Therapy. I'm assuming there weren't any psychotherapists in like 1500s or whenever her father was burned, but nowadays you can even get the therapy for free, even online, remotely. Things work like that. One detail that I haven't mentioned so far, I like how Carol's voice reverts from the mature to the child Carol. It's a nice little addition, right? When she tries to keep up her composure, he uses that mature, little sultry, confident voice, And when things are not going according to her plans, when she's overcome with emotions, she's reverting to her childlike state, which highlights that she's still a child. She hasn't really grown as a person. She's not a grown up. She's a child throwing a tantrum. I guess that's kind of how it can be summed up, right? She's a child throwing a tantrum. Like, sure, throwing a tantrum over her father, sure. Her plans have been foiled, and now she's throwing another tantrum. If I can't win, then I'm at least gonna make sure you all lose with me, right? To spite my mom, I'm gonna break my leg. That kind of deal. Sorta. I like how she returns to her childish voice. I really do. Very nice, very nifty detail. He left us with this problem and never told us the answer. What problem did he leave you with, exactly? Get to know the world. Cool. That's not the problem. That's a wish. I don't want to call it a command, but it's something that you were told to do, not asked a question or told that there is a problem to solve. I think your father must have wanted to tell something very important. When people are on the verge of death, they say what they most want to say. Could be not, and so it could be nothing short of the truth, indeed. We should live in perfect harmony with the world, but of course, Carol is in denial. Of course she is. The solution to this problem is forgiveness, forgive the world. But Carol doesn't want to believe that. Because of course she doesn't, because sunken cost fallacy, essentially. Kinda, sorta. Yeah, if the chateau is destroyed, then I won't be able to destroy the future. But I can destroy the past by burning my memories, and I can destroy the present by killing everybody present. Yeah, she does mean to transmute all her memories into combat power. That's exactly what she intends to do. Elf9 doesn't want revenge. Elf9 wants a fucking bandage! That's what she wants! Dine's Life Mark II, or second form, or whatever. The details in their henshins. I mentioned that briefly, but now we can go like more in depth look at it. Yeah, I love the eyes, how they look like on a Kamui transformation. Hibiki, claws with like nails, the way she was in her berserk form when she was going psycho mode. No, fists. The shadow creates the claws, the light creates the fist. In case of Chris, it's a shapeless blob turning into her ass. In case of Tsubasa, it's wings that manifest themselves as blades, as ankle blades. I guess what we can infer from that is that Chris's main weapon is her ass. Not entirely incorrect, but probably not what they wanted us to infer from this henshin sequence. And yeah, we're fighting, but alas, it doesn't work. They've shifted from phase Nigredo to Albedo. Right, Nigredo, Albedo, then Rubedo, and the last form is, I think, like gold? Something like that? No, or is it about... I can't remember what Nigredo, Albedo, Rubedo are about. I think those are stages towards Philosopher's Stone. Whatever you put in the cauldron first turns into Nigredo, then after some more mambo jumbo turns into Albedo, finally into Rubedo, and from Rubedo you get the Philosopher's Stone. Something like that. I'm not entirely fully versed in alchemy, but... this scene. Hibiki's father is the only person who gives a fuck about Elf9 here. Let that sink in. He's genuinely right. I mean, it's probably not what they wanted us to believe, the creators of the show, but if you look at this, he's the only motherfucker who cares about Elf9. And yeah, even the second form doesn't work. All safeties release. We have even less time, but no. All bets are off, all releases are released. Not enough. Of course not enough. We need to up the stakes even further, even higher. And of course Carol would know the Ignite modules. That's why she threw the blade, because she needed the songs, but she knew everything about the Shard of Dine's life. My song alone has the phony gain of 7 billion superb songs. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I have a feeling that overcoming the strength of 7 billion suicide songs is unachievable, essentially. So how exact... Oh no, it was something about like them reflecting Carol's songs back at her or something like that. Those 3 survived. Somehow. That's great, like, don't get me wrong, I like the fact that they survived, but somehow. Of course, a moment of hope, we have to have that, right? Hopelessness, hope. Hopelessness, hope. That's also one of the things very visible in this season, right? Good, bad, good, bad, good, bad situation, right? Situation is good, situation is bad, roller coaster, and that's a part of it. Saved your life so you could tell the whole world about my heroic deeds. I hope they do. I genuinely hope they do announce it that Dr. Ver helped save the world. He deserves it. He does deserve as much. Show that you are someone worth saving. And this is... It's love, my dear. Of course, poetic to the last moment. There are no miracles involved in Symphogear compatibility. Which makes me think Ver somehow cracked the code of compatibility. That somehow we might be able to perhaps find people who are compatible easier, or we might be able to increase compatibility permanently, which would be interesting. If you want to make that power your own, yeah, which implies you can make that power your own. How does he have that SD card, though? Did they not search him when they were shutting him in the prison among the relics? Let me remind you, but... Okay, I guess... I guess they imprisoned him in a store of relics, so why am I even expecting them to search him for items? Why am I even expecting anything from the people who imprisoned him? Is he able to become a hero? The worst hero ever, but a hero nonetheless. That's what matters. I hope, by some miracle, Ver still survives. I want him to be a cockroach of this series. I genuinely want him to be a cockroach of this series. That somehow, in the next season, they discover Ver's corpse on the bottom of the Mariana Trench, they fish him out, and he gasps for air, and he's alive again because some mumbo-jumbo with the fucking arm. To the point, I'm gonna note it down. Ver becomes a cockroach. He'll be back. Maybe wishful thinking. Sure. But it would be cool. It would be kind of comedic, and it would kind of tie those seasons more with each other, and it would just be cool, just plain cool, having him progressively go more insane and more focused, obsessed with heroism. Uh, every time at the last moments where things are completely hopeless, suddenly Ver throws himself off the building, grapples the main bad dudes, and gives them a moment of respite so they can regroup and attack, or, something like that. Ver ex machina. I want it to be the case. I want it to be a thing. Again, probably wishful thinking, but still. Now we're having some moments. I'll use the Gungnir to bring the phonic gain together. I'll use the Ergetlam to control and redistribute it. Apparently the fact that Gungnir has the power to bring the phonic gain together, we know that, but Ergetlam control and redistribute it? First time we hear about it, but sure. Whatever. I don't mind. And thus, the Gungnir grows. As Elfnine bleeds out, one last miracle would be someone bringing a fucking bandage at this point. Would I mean to use my own phonic gain against me? Probably. X-Drive, XD, haha, final. No, this season isn't called XD. It's called GX. What the fuck does GX stand for then? This episode was called GX. Also, I like how the subs were done. Slowly growing and fading. Yeah, X-Drive, X-Drivo! And they are back from the heavens. Descend in their new forms, transcended flesh and whatnot, yada yada. Angels, almost every single one of them with her own pair of wings. More than a pair, sometimes. Let's take a quick look at them in order. Wings growing out of her twin tails. Because, of course, the twin tail... Or are they growing out of her back? Hard to tell. Chris, quadruple wings, of course. The weird thing around her waist kind of looked to me for a moment like she was sitting and with her legs crossed or in like a meditative pose a little. Especially with the hands raised, it really looked like she was meditating. But no, it's just weird thingamajig around her waist. Blade wings and a pair of smaller wings on her head, because of course, is it blade wings or is it her scythe that's simply so big? I guess we'll see that later. Wings growing out of her back, no blades on her ankles, and a pair of wings growing out of her back. Her Symphogear didn't change much. Everybody else's changed a fair bit. Maria's, at a glance, not much of a change. And of course, Hibiki, a pair of wings, all white and yellow. This has probably become a reaction phase. I have no doubt it's become a reaction phase. I'm gonna snip it real quick, and I'm gonna make it a whatchamacallit, a sticker on the Discord server, which you can join, by the way. There's a link here and in the description if you want. Yeah, we have a better look at the wings now. Twin tail wings, head wings, and blade wings. Back wings, ass wings, but quadruple. Not all hope is lost. Such a uplifting moment of, haha, our heroes are back, better than ever. And, oh, yeah, Elfnine is bleeding out. Such an uplifting moment, isn't it? and straight into the ending song. Okay, that was the episode. I wanted to show you one thing real quick, because some of you might not know how it looks. Okay, how about I do it this way? Okay, yeah, just new tab. That'll do it. That'll do it. Said that'll do it. There we go. That's better now. Uh, mm-hmm. Can I find it on like Sakugaboru? Probably. Sakugaboru. Kill la Kill Henshin. Yeah. Okay. And no, 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 no. How should I do it? Display capture? Display capture. Yeah, that'll do the trick. Full screen, why not? And let's find the moment of the ice. Yeah, the ice. That's the moment I wanted. Although that's, I think, like early henshin in Kill la Kill. Yeah, very early. I wanted the ice. There we go. Kinda. No? Kinda. There was a henshin where the eyes just pop out one then the other, and that's what the Ignite henshins very much remind me of. Is Satsuki's henshin gonna be better about it? No, not really, because it's also Life Fiber Override, so not the correct henshin either. Ah. And this henshin is... No, not that either. Whatever, maybe I was mistaken. But yeah, the eyes very much do remind me of henshins in Kill la Kill. Okay, this scene. This scene. One more thought that came to my mind when I was looking at Elf9 fucking dying over and over, again and again, because nobody gave her a bit of a bandage. There was a mention of Carol trying to burn out all of her memories. What if, instead of Elf9, we could get Carol as an ally? With her memories burned out, that would also mean her hatred is burned out. So maybe we can take her to our side. And that kind of ties into the theory I had here that Elf9 is given a new body, maybe merges with Carol. Makes me think that perhaps Carol loses her memories, becomes an empty husk, and they somehow implant the memories of dying Elf9 into Carol's body. And that's how they save Elf9 and maybe a shard of Carol. I'm gonna note it down as a separate theory. Elf9 gets saved thanks to Carol's empty body. Another theory, as I mentioned before, Carol loses memories can be useful to us. Yeah, those are the thoughts that I had about things that might happen. Will they, won't they? Who's to say? Not me, because I haven't seen into the future. Haha. That was. Hmm. I don't know what more to say about this episode, honestly. I think I said everything I needed to say. It was a very hype episode, kind of predictable, some of the points. Uh, I guess maybe it was just a little too fast paced. I think so. In retrospect, they could have easily spread those events into like two separate episodes and it might have had just a little bit more weight to it because a lot has happened in a single episode. It was very dense, extremely so. Um, saving Ver happened. Ver finding a way to turn back Chateau's destruction happened. Um, the battle at the chateau, the battle with Mother, then the battle with Dark Maria. All those things happened on board of the chateau itself. Then outside, the first fight with Carol happened. Then after Carol abandoned her memories, another fight happened. Then another fight started. Then the henshin on board of the boat. Um, the hacking coding happened. Hibiki's father taking care of Elf9, the only person on board being such taking care of her, but that happened a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. It kind of sort of ties into what I've been noticing about this season, where we create a problem and then solve it within the same episode. Uh, the moment that made me think of it is when Maria, Kirika, and Shirabe turned out to be alive and already in their Ignite forms, which they turned into when exactly? I don't know, but they did. I think it would have had a little bit more weight if they actually did end the episode with them MIA still. And then the next episode perhaps starts with them appearing out of nowhere. Right? I talked about the effect of when you wait between episodes, the passage of time seems more tangible, more real, more like in line with the show itself. When all of that happens in the span of 20 something minutes, doesn't have quite the same weight. Besides that, very good episode. I love the new henshins. I love how, for the first, well, not for the first time, but, or I guess so. Mm, in general, I love the fact that everybody had to be pushed to their very limits to have even a semblance of a hope at surviving and winning. Kinda. Kinda, because nobody was really pushed to their limits. The limit being the suicide song and being the superb form. That's the limit. That's what they always do at the end when they're fighting the big bad. They push themselves to the edge of Ignite module capabilities. But all this time we knew that there is still the superb form that they can take. So that was constantly hanging around here, and in this episode came to fruition. And I can absolutely see the whole situation being anything but a ruffle stomp by now. They're just gonna defeat Carol, and that's gonna be that. We're gonna have a little bit of a retrospective at the end. What went wrong? What went right? Uh, oh no, Carol had to die. Slash, oh no, Elf9 had to die. Slash, oh no, Dr. Ver had to die. We're gonna shed a tear or two, and then all's gonna be good in the end. Maybe it will turn out that one of them that was thought to be dead survived in the end, uh, or something. Anything else that needs to be said about Gia GX episode 9? I don't know why this episode was called GX. I still don't know what the fuck GX stands for. Extra Drive, XD, but this season isn't called XD, so that doesn't make much sense. GX, GX, GX. Oh, I don't know. Maybe one of you will tell me. Maybe the next episode will tell us about it. Maybe it's just a mishmash of letters that doesn't really matter. That doesn't really mean anything in particular. Who knows? Any of those possibilities is equally just as possible, really. Anything else? I liked how it kind of ties into the fact that everybody had to be pushed to their limits. I liked how throughout this season we continued upping the stakes constantly, constantly, constantly. Your best isn't enough anymore. You think your best is enough now? No, it's not. You got even better, it's still not enough. Constant roller coaster of situation being good, situation going to shit. That was cool. That I did very much enjoy, and this episode really exemplified that. I'm kind of talking as if the season has ended, but it hasn't yet. We still have one more episode left. Then we're probably gonna watch the concert on a live stream. I'm gonna watch the OVAs, and we're gonna start the next season. But about that, we're gonna talk in the actual last episode of Symphogear GX. Right now, I think that was all I had to say, but maybe you have something to add, something to tell me about this episode, my reaction, my theories. Let me know down in the comments below, unless it's a spoiler, in which case please refrain from spoiling me things. If you do want to talk spoilers with fellow fans of Symphogear, Discord here, also in the description, there's a Symphogear channel, you can use spoiler tags and talk spoilers to your heart's content. Just not in the comments below. Okay. Like this video if you liked it, disliked it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Symphogear GX, but also Madoka Magica, Yofukashi no Uta, Overlord Season 4, Ruby Ice Queendom, and Hataraku Mao-sama Season 2. I also stream sometimes, like that concert, the previous concert. The VOD is on my channel, so you might want to check that out. I also play Disco Elysium sometimes, or I will in the future. So stay subscribed, click the bell, all that jazz, you know what to do. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or Throne. On Patreon you can get early access to non-seasonals like Symphogear, like Madoka Magica for $10 a month, and for just a single $1 you get a role on the Discord, and you also get a place in the credits. On Throne you can pitch in towards my purchase of new gear, proper camera, better lighting, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you can still help a lot by sharing my content, spreading the word, telling people that, hey, I exist, and maybe someone's gonna be willing to watch my stuff, and that's one more viewer acquired, and I like it, YouTube likes it, algorithm likes it, everybody likes it. Is that it? That's it. Yeah, that's it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of my current Patreons. You can be one of them if only you so desire, or you can be a member of another list with a different tier.